Hey Hodies, welcome to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today, I have some newness, new to me, not really new to the market, new items for me to play with. I'm gonna walk you through why I bought it. This is all stuff I bought with my budget for the month. So I don't think I've ever gotten my stuff so fast from my monthly budget. So this is like kind of an interesting choice. So we're just gonna play with it, play around, do some first impressions with the stuff that's brand new. I have some new stuff that I have some thoughts on. That's what we have in store for you. But if you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. My channel is typically about really loving my makeup collection as it is, but I am budgeting this year, so if you want to see more about my budget, you can feel free to do so. But I try to be really considerate when I bring something into my collection. So I will explain why I brought the things in that I did as we go. So if that kind of content sounds good to you, some conscious consumerism, I would love to have you subscribe. Thank you to all my lovely patrons who support me on patreon.com. You may also support me there if you'd like. Every tier level gets the same rewards. It's more of like a give what you can if you'd like to give situation over there. And make sure you like this video before you head away. That really helps me in the algorithm. I'm sweating. I just came out of the shower. I was working out beforehand and I'm like doing that thing where it's like I just showered after a workout but I'm sweating, and that's kind of the journey we're on, and my hair is kind of just doing whatever it wants. Then I realized it's been a month since I got my haircut and I'm like, how is time moving so fast? So I have a haircut on Thursday. It's a new stylist. It's my friend's stylist, so I should be in good hands, but I am nervous about it. I got you all caught up. I had a tough weekend. I hope you had a good weekend. Let's start with some newness. So, I made a purchase from Black Moon's Cosmetics. First and foremost, can you even, with this packaging, it's so adorable. Hi, Hodies. Look at these Hodies. Gorgeous. This is like a cute little thing to stick. Like, I know that Black Moon's is an indie brand, so I was kind of not expecting like this. I knew their theme was like ooky spooky, which is like really perfect for the season that we're about to head into. But I like didn't expect all of this. And they also sent me like a little thank you. Look at that. Hello. We love you to the moon and back. So cute. I have talked about her before. My internet friend and YouTube friend and Instagram friend, Chloe Tilden, also known here as Twigglypuff, but she was talking about changing her name here. So I don't know if she changed it already or if not, but I will link her channel down below. She did a beautiful look and she had black lipstick on. Now, this won't be the first time I have a black lipstick in my collection. I just haven't had one in a while. And we're going to spooky season and I really like black lipstick. I'm not really even like, I won't even say in like a gothic way, but like in a, I don't know, in a Tom honoring way. So I bought their black satin lipstick and look at this. Can you, little coffin, and then you open it up and then the lipstick obviously is in there. But like, what a cool carton. If you work for Black Moon's Cosmetics and for some reason you come across this video, do people have to hand fold these little boxes? Are your fingers okay? There's just, it seems like a lot of delicate folding. I certainly do not have the heart to get rid of this. It's how millennial of me to be like, it's a box. I don't think I have even a use for it otherwise, but like, it's so cute. Gotta get the lipstick out of here. So the reason I went with Black Moon's black lipstick is because Kat of Beauty News in the Kitchen Niche, I'm not really sure how to say her actual handle here, really loves this formula, and she's a lipstick queen. She just recently tried like over 500 lipsticks over the course of a year and a half that were in her collection to declutter them. God bless Kat, honestly. But here is the component. So cute, so cute, interesting shape. I'm very curious if it will fit in my like little lipstick holder in my drawer. But it's a black lipstick, as I said, as I promised. I got black nails on, black lipstick. Anyway, so Chloe wore black lipstick and that sent me down this rabbit hole, and I was like, I think it's time for me to have a black lipstick again. So I'm very excited to try that formula, but she's not the star of the show. In fact, the next thing I'm showing you is the star of the show for me, but probably not for you, because what I'm about to show you is old news. I haven't even opened this, but I'm gonna keep it this direction because I did not block off my address. So, what's in here? I did something. Okay, I should probably I'm gonna look in the box now. Ooh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so you know what's so interesting about this is when I picked it up, I was like, this doesn't feel as heavy as I was expecting it. But now that I am holding exclusively the component, It is heavy. Oh my God. Sorry about my casual dress today. It's been a long day. It's been a long weekend. We'll get into it a little bit while we put on makeup because that's what we want to do. First of all, gorgeous box. I did it. I bought the Glow List. Okay, and I bought Morganite. I know I have the new Morganite, which is probably for the best. This is, the millennial urge to keep this box. It's so pretty. I'm not, but it's so nice. Sometimes I'm going to try to say this as gracefully as I can, but every now and then, I'm a highly textural person, and I'm like, you know, every now and then I think, and I'm not even saying this in a negative way, but just like, I'm like, you remember when people on TikTok were like, everyone thought they had autism? I was one of those people. I'm just saying, but like this matte, the way this matte side feels very satisfying, and it's so gorgeous. I haven't even opened it to look. I'm so excited now. Anyway, let me tell you how I ended up with this. 1.18 fluid ounces. This is stunning. And I know I've watched people on YouTube open these up and say they're stunning, but okay, rewind. Let's talk. Let's talk about how this ended up in my divine little hands. I'm now in love with Samantha Ravindal. I really hadn't watched Samantha's content until maybe 3 weeks ago, and then I just like have been watching it all. Like when I say I'm watching it all, I'm watching her talk about subculture. Like that's how far back I am. That's how deep in it I am, babes. I'm gonna have a little bit of an honesty moment. So a few years ago, Jaclyn Hill released the bronzers and blushes, and I did see her video on that. And I actually didn't like that video. I now have a little bit more context for that video that I didn't have when I originally watched it. She was like very pregnant in that video, but it wasn't something that like she discussed at all. And she didn't seem very excited to be talking about the products. And it was just like kind of one of those things where I was like, I don't think I understand this. But having watched other videos and gotten more context recently, because she posted a video recently called like, I'm going to say it, I don't like short form content. And so I watched it, which was very funny because I just started posting short form content myself. I watched that video. I really like her vibe. I go back, realize kind of how wrong I was the first time I interacted with one of Sam's videos. And so I watched some of her videos. I learned a lot about her. We have similar tastes. We both love a packaging moment, and we both like luxury. I love that. So I kind of love that she has like created her own brand, wrapped in luxury, tied with a bow. Basically, the parasocial relationship grew fast and hard, and I was like, I would like to support her. In the spirit of using Morganite today, I will use my Smoke Reflect in Ego, which I did not buy. One of my subscribers sent this to me to try because it did not work out for them. And they asked to remain anonymous. That is why I'm not shouting them out. But you know who you are, and I appreciate you for sending this my way. So I'm excited to play with both of those. Yeah, now I'm just madly in love with Samantha Ravindal, and I know she's not like a regular poster, and she's a mom, a newer mom, not fresh mom, but like, you know, stuff happens. I do not know how I want to use this, and I am, oh wow, this is so satisfying. And if you know anything about me, it's like I'm a packaging snob myself. So I'm just gonna like squirt some out. This is literally my first interaction with it. And obviously I've heard so many good things about this. I've heard it's like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. Some people prefer this. I've heard it's like the Lisa Eldridge thing, the Chanel thing. It's kind of thicker than I was expecting. Here's the other thing. I don't know how smart this purchase was for me. I have been like kind of vaguely interested in this type of, type of product, but I was never kind of sure how I was going to use them. So I think I'm just going to use it how everyone else uses it. So I'm going to try it as a primer, and then I will tap some on top of my makeup later as a highlight, as like a natural highlight. I think. Doesn't really have a smell, which I like. I dig that. First impressions of this product is that it's a little thicker than I was expecting. That does not deter me in any way. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start here. Do I want to do color? I don't think I want to do the whole 9 yards when it comes to that. Should I prime before this, or should I'm just going to use it as my primer. I'm just going to use it. That's really pretty. I'm starting to get it. The girls who get it, right? And I want to be a girl who gets it. I'm going to apply it to half of my face. We're going to then stop there, and then we're going to take a look. Because, you know, I don't know that it claims to have coverage or anything like that, but let's just see what happens here. Okay. And we'll just compare it to the other side of my face. Oh, wow. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what my makeup looks like. We might not even need to put it on top. Should I do the thumbnail? I'm not good at the thumbnail thing. I tried really, really hard. The lovely, 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 ever lovely Hannah Louise Poston did send me some tips. So I solicited these tips. So it wasn't like she came from my gig. Wouldn't that be so funny if I was like, Hannah Louise Poston thought my thumbnails were so bad she sent me a personal email. And then I tried to play the game. Wow. Wow. I get it. I get it. I look so sweaty, but it's like a good way. I started out sweaty in a bad way today. Not sweaty. Let's apply some complexion on top of it. Let's start with concealer today. I'm gonna use the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. Okay, so let's talk about my weekend like a little bit. For fun, for funsies, for funzos. You know, this Nars concealer always looks way too dark for me when I put it on. And then I blend it out and it always looks so stunning. And I'm not really sure how it does that. I went to the Brazilian steakhouse this weekend and I've never been to one. I don't think I'll ever go to one again. It was a whole ordeal. But the TLDR is that someone in our group is at a Brazilian steakhouse. If you are from Brazil, I assume this is not how you guys eat, but if it is, but I'm like 90% sure that it's just cultural appropriation. I'm gonna use the Chantecaille foundation on top of this today because that's what I feel like using. I'm gonna put foundation on this half of my face and then check in. I live my biggest fear every time I use this Chantecaille foundation, and what I mean by that is like, I certainly always feel like I've used too much. I pulled too much of it out of the container, which is like probably true. I'm gonna blend this out real quick. I don't know that I'll ever get to the end of this Brazilian steakhouse story. What we did was we chose this option where we pay a fee and then people walk around with like meats on a stick and you're like, I would like to try that meat, please. Well, they offer it to you and they were like, they cut off a piece of that meat for you. This has the foundation on it. And this side doesn't. Okay, so what I'm kind of learning is that the Chantecaille foundation and the Glow Lust kind of have the same coverage. This is killing me. I was not expecting to like this as much as I am right now. People come around with meat on a skewer. And again, if I happen to have anyone in my audience who's from Brazil, if you can like let me know the tea about a real Brazilian steakhouse, or do you guys just like do it like American style? Do you know what I mean? Where you just are like, I would like a steak. On the menu, there's like, I don't know, let's for the sake of this say there's like 10 different types of meat. Well, someone clocked that not all of the meats that were on the menu ever came to our table. And it's not like, I feel like it's like not handled in a situation where like the restaurant employees know which tables have had which meats presented to them. Samantha Ravindall, you rascal. I'm mad at everyone who never just told me to buy this. Who let me run my mouth and say, I don't need anything like that. I've done very beautiful makeup without it, but I could have looked like this my whole life. I don't know that I'm going to use any bronzer today, but if I do, I'll use powder bronzer. But I'm going to have cream contour. I'm still trying to use up this Fenty, this amber. I'm still trying. It's like I hit pan, and then I immediately feel like I make no progress every time. Just like zero progress. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like over it. You know how when you get to like a point in your makeup, or even like your skincare, where you're just like, you're ready to move on to something else. You don't want to use the thing that you're using anymore. You're just like, I would love to do anything but this. And it's like, I know what I would want to move on to, but it's also like, I really don't want to buy a new contour right now either. So it's a moot point. Someone has clocked that our table did not have all of the meats that were promised, like, come our way. So they complained to our server. It turns into a whole thing. The TLDR, my friends, my lovely internet friends, is that we ended up being there for 4 hours because it was a large party. We made reservations in advance, and the restaurant had a minimum for us to hit. So after we complained and had more meats delivered to us, which was a whole kerfuffle, right? The staff wasn't generally pleased with us. We ended up getting free dessert out of it, even though we brought our own cake because it was my friend's birthday. To hit the minimum, because we were there until after close, because of course we were. We were there until after they were closed. And they were like, they bring around this bar cart, and they were like, does anyone want to buy the birthday girl? I can use the Chantecaille blurring powder. Does anyone buy the birthday girl like a very nice shot for her birthday? So, and like this shot would like help you hit your minimum. What? Well, it turns out because the reservation was made for more people that showed up, we had like a minimum to hit. We didn't hit the minimum. We ended up buying 3 bottles of wine to go. And the birthday girl, because she had planned this whole thing, was about to pay for these wines herself. And then I went to the server and I was like, if no one else has offered to pay for that wine, I will. I just spent a few $100s on a thing that I had only really intended about spending $100 on. And it wasn't even a very good experience. I'm not saying don't go to Brazilian steakhouses. But what I am saying is I won't ever be going. And it wasn't just that. I didn't like the experience of I just didn't really care for it. Anyway, so I have now had powder on it. The glows obviously have gone down, but I still feel like I look like I have a little filter on. And you can still see the glow through it. Just kind of took it down a bit, which as an oily person, probably for the best for me, especially because I'm like kind of still sweating. I am just going to contour with some Kevin Aquan on top of what I already contoured, but I'm going to try to keep it cool tone today because we have the black coming down the pipeline later on the lips, and I want to see how this blush looks on a really cool toned look. Shut up. Look at that cheek. Look at the way that light. I'll have to do like a wear test with this as a primer to see if it's like worth it, but I'm curious if that's going to be the way that I end up using it. I'm curious like where in my drawer should it stick around after its testing period, which I'm going to say it's very likely that that's going to happen. Which drawer I keep it in, like the highlight drawer, the primer drawer. Those are different drawers in my collection, at least. I'm just going to take a powder brush with no powder on it and just kind of like buff that contour in. It was looking a little rough. I'm gonna do that with my chin as well. It wasn't just yet the bad experience, but it was like I was just overwhelmed by the whole experience in general, just like people coming around with me. And I could have ordered off the menu, but I was like, this is kind of the point of this, and so I feel like I should do that. I feel like I should do what's in spirit, what's in line with this restaurant's vision for my experience here. And I didn't like that. But I will say this, I feel the same way about Subway and like Chipotle. Things happening, moving parts, I have to answer questions. Also that, like they come over and they have a skewer and you're like in the middle of a conversation, they're like, filet mignon? I'm in the middle of talking here, so if you could bring that back in a few minutes. Anyway, still living that trauma. I'm not over it. I'm not gonna hold a grudge because it's like, whose fault is it? Maybe to the restaurant. I'll hold a grudge to the restaurant, but not to anyone else because it was, it was my choice to buy the wine because I wanted to leave. The second I was done writing out my signature, tapped my friend who I came with on their shoulder, and I was like, we are leaving. We're not going to the second thing. I'm done. And so literally like we finished signing and like immediately left. There was a second location. We did not go. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. I have feelings and thoughts. I think I'm going to consider this my official review. So I'm not going to do a separate video of it. I only have the one shade. So I have the shade Rosy Beige. It's the shade 5. And if you get this, it's a little bit confusing at first, but there's 2 notches in here. The left notch is the one you pull up, and then the right one sticks to the bottom. This is what Rosy Beige looks like. I feel like it's the shade that everyone in my circle also bought, but in case you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like on the finger. And then here's a little really bad. Did anything show up? No. Okay, first and foremost, the packaging is gorgeous, but I do have a qualm with the packaging. What's that look like to you? It looks like a hole you stick a pin through to pop out the pan. So I tried to do that. My neighbor's doing lawn work. It rained today. I don't know why he's doing lawn work. So I apologize, but I'm gonna persevere. I stick a thing through that, and then I hear like glue unsticking. So it's not a magnetic pan. I even swiped my magnet over it. I tried to pop it out. It's not magnetic. I don't understand why they don't put this here. Because to me, that makes it seem like you're gonna come out with refills, and they might, but I can't put it in here. The packaging is gorgeous. We're not going to argue that. The packaging is gorgeous. I wouldn't say it's like weighted though, but it's not like light. It's like, you know, it's not as heavy as like Westman Atelier, but not as light as like Hourglass or like a Fenty compact. So like there's something, but it's like, I would have liked more. Kind of would have loved to see the compact actually be metal, something with more heft, but whatever. I am wondering about the accessibility of this enclosure. It was really hard to open the first time I opened it. It's easier now, but you know, I'm obviously not the final word in sustainability, which is not even something that I would say that I'm like very conscious of. Like I am, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean? But I also feel that way about accessibility because I have my motor skills. There's no deterioration in them or anything. So I can't really speak to that. So I just am curious about that. So if anyone who may have issues opening things would be able to sound off on that, I would love to hear that in the comments. It smells. And a lot of luxury is scented, but this is rose. And it doesn't always punch me in the face, but sometimes it does. And, you know, it's interesting because I feel two ways about something being scented the way this is. I think of Too Faced, which is a bad thing, and then I think, well, of course it smells like something, it's luxury. Like, luxury often has some kind of scent. And while it does smell like rose, it's like very sweet, almost like candy. Like if they made a rose candy, it doesn't smell like straight rose to me because I don't really typically like that scent profile. If you're new here, here's why I bought this specifically. There's a shade. If you're a patron, you know what's going on. Keep your mouth shut. But there's the shade called Mimi from Westman Atelier in the blush sticks that they have. The shade immediately mesmerized me, and it was something that was like limited edition at one point, and then they brought back. But it's a website exclusive, so you can't get it through Sephora. And I've just been looking at it, and I've been thinking, that's for me. Then Gucci came out with this, and I was like, oh, what a good reason to try a new thing. This kind of reminds me of Mimi from Westman Atelier. Also, if you watch Hannah Louise Poston at all, it's giving old gum, right? It's the vibe. And that's the vibe I wanted, right? Because ever since Hannah kind of brought up the idea of old gum as a blush color, I was like, I too would like old gum. So I'm going to apply some for you. And you may have seen my short where I applied it. I've been applying it with this brush. So here we go. Here it is. I feel like I'm so reflective. I'm going to zoom you in so hopefully you can see it a little bit better. Okay, here we go. Here's one pro. Here's one thing that I will say about it. I think it does a really good job blurring. Now, I already have other blurring products on my skin, right, that are kind of doing some work refracting light, but I do think this adds even more blur to the skin. Like, I really think it does. And I will say it's pretty easy to use. It's not super pigmented. It does feel as though it'd be hard to go overboard. Like, you'd have to try, or I'm using a very, like, not super densely packed brush, right, because I'm stippling it on, because this is kind of my most preferred way to apply blush because I feel like it gives me a lot of control. But if it's really pigmented, sometimes I'll use a fan brush. Like with the Bare Minerals bronzer, I really like to use a fan brush for that blush. So I've heard, let me zoom you back out. Now I've watched some other people talk about this, and I've heard people say they've compared it to Chantecaille and they've compared it to Hourglass. I'm not getting Hourglass from it because I would buy another Hourglass blush before I would buy another Gucci blush. Here's the thing. Beautiful presentation, an interesting color. And I also would say this, is that the Gucci shade range, it's kind of this like very interesting desaturated situation. Like even the yellows are not like super, super punchy. And I think that's interesting. And I think they did, I don't think they certainly didn't go deep enough, in my opinion. But it did seem that they were like kind of going for this like very ashy look in their blushes, right? It was like very desaturated shade ranges. I wouldn't spend $49 on another one of these. Like the packaging is nice, but I don't think that the formula of the blush is all that special. While I do think it looks like, I do think it like adds some blur. Like I think it forgives some sins. But the other thing is, on my cheek, I think it doesn't look as special as it does in a finger swatch. Like to me, in the finger swatch, it's giving more beige. And then when it goes on my face, I feel like it gives more of like the rosy, which is fine, which is pretty, but it loses its specialness in the transfer from the pan to my brush to my face, right? I just don't think that it's all that special looking once it's on the face. If it looked like it did in the pan on my finger, then I think I'm gonna add some more. We might be in business. I might be like, yeah, this was worth it. And it's not, I wanna try to make this kind of clear. It's not that I didn't think it was, like, it's not that I regret purchasing it, because I think the curiosity would have killed me if I hadn't tried it, because I just felt like I needed to. But what I'm going to say to you, if you're not someone who already bought one and you feel like you are missing out, it wasn't in your budget this month or not in your budget right now because you're on a no buy, I would say like, I don't think you're missing much. And the reason I say that is I have 3 other blushes that were less expensive than that in different levels of less expensive that I think are more worth it. I'll correct myself if my prices are wrong, but I'm fairly certain that the Pat McGrath blushes are $39, and I think the Pat McGrath blushes are nice. Are they my favorite formula? No, but they have some very interesting shades as well. Like Desert Orchid is like, if you have a light skin tone and you like wanted the most easiest, most beautiful blush ever in the whole wide world, that's just like the best color and it doesn't make any sense, I think you would really like Desert Orchid. That's what that reads to me. But the bronzer from Bare Minerals, 25 doll hairs, not drugstore pricing. I don't really use drugstore makeup. It's kind of the nature of, you know, me having worked at Sephora, getting so much free gratis, my general interest in makeup. So the bronzer was an outlier. I bought it because people kept hyping up the formula and I was like, well, I have to know. I too buy into the hype of the bronzer. I know not everyone's gonna love everything, but like I put this on my face, $25. I put it on my face the first time I was like, I get it. I'm into it. I understand immediately. Phytosurgeons, indie brand. It's a cream blush. Put this on my face for the first time. I was like, wow, what an amazing formula. What an amazing shade range. They extended the shade range recently with more cooler blushes. Incredible. And I think that this is, I don't know what this is in US, but I think it's around $20. So my dears, I'm saying to you, having bought more expensive blushes than Gucci and less expensive blushes than Gucci, the Gucci blush is just like not that worth it for me. I will likely be keeping it in my collection, but we'll see because Mimi may or may not be on its way to me. We will get to do a comparison in that. That ends my thoughts on the Gucci blush. It's now kind of time to highlight. I still have some of it left over, some of it being the Auric. I'm just gonna tap it on like a highlighter. Damn. Okay. I kind of went like overboard on this side, but it's fine. My lighting situation is like, we are shinier than we've ever been, and I like it. Let's put on some Auric Smoke Reflect on the eyes. Now, I've had this for a bit. I've worn it a handful of times, and I really like it. And I'm going to talk about it whenever I review my Rowan quads, which were also something that I was debating putting in this video. But they will have their time in the sun. We know it's coming. You know that I have them. You know that I'm gonna formulate thoughts on them, and you just know, like we all know that that's coming. What I like about the Smoke Reflex, and I'm not like a one and done eyeshadow person for the most part. Like it's not really a space that I occupy very often. However, I wore this one day for the whole day. like did a wear test with it. I didn't film it. I was just like curious about it because it was like, I'm not sure I'm going to do like a dedicated review or dedicated thoughts on this because it's like an older product. Who really cares? But like, I was like very grateful that my subscriber offered it to me so I could try it, right? It was like an easy, free way for me to try a formula that I wasn't sure I was going to like and that I probably wouldn't spend money on. It lasted really well on my eyes. And my eyelids are pretty oily and I didn't prime them the day that I used it, like with anything else. And I like had a very good experience. I'm not just pretty good, a very good experience. And I actually really kind of like this shade. Like, I wasn't expecting to like really like this like smoky silver, but it's really gorgeous and really easy to use. I'm sure if you're a cream eyeshadow person, like you already know all of the benefits of like being a cream eyeshadow person. My concern with cream eyeshadows most of the time is just like, how are they gonna hold up on my oily lids? These ones do. You're gonna see some creasing at some point during the day, but like it takes a pretty long time. Like it's certainly no instant situation where it's like you put them on and they immediately crease. Like that's not the vibe of the Auric Smoke Reflex. So I've been very impressed with this. I don't feel like using my fingers, but I might have to do the sparkle on top. Would I buy another one of these? I don't know, because I think that I'm happy to have this, but I don't think I would buy another one. Things like this are get lost in the sauce in my collection a bit because I do kind of gravitate towards eyeshadows, whether they be ones that I build or pre-made ones or whatever. Like I just think about eyeshadow palettes a little bit more. But with the way I'm feeling about the Rowan quads and the way I've just kind of been feeling about like something very easy like this, it's like there's a potential for that vibe to change. But like honestly, it's just like, how easy is that? So like if I just left the silver on, would have been an okay day look, but like, I'm just saying, it's pretty simple. Like if I would have bought this, I'm not sure that this would be the color that I bought because this definitely feels like night out vibes to me whenever I'm thinking about the color and the way it looks, and maybe I would have picked something like a little bit more neutral. But I also don't have that many cool tones rolling around in my collection, so I think it's okay. Wow. Okay, really loving the way the skin's looking. I'm gonna put some black eyeliner on. Not to be like political, and it's like what I'm gonna say is like not political, but like we're gonna have a king. How yeah, gross. I mean, we meaning not me at all. I have no horse in that race. Let me spray my face. Although, I have pores anymore? I think I've gotten rid of all of them. I am gonna spray my face just because, you know, I'm kind of almost done with this bottle of Fix Plus and why not? The Fix Plus also does some blurring and some glowing action of its own. I'm gonna quickly apply my Isamaya mascara. Nothing new in mascara. October, but I think I'm just going back to Lash Clash unless an exciting new mascara release happens between now and then, but I don't see it happening. I'm gonna take this lip balm off. I need to clean this towel because it certainly has glitter all over it, which is now, in turn, all over my lips. Let us put on this black lipstick and serve rich bitch fantasy. This black lipstick, rich bitch, goth bitch, it's gonna really change the way we look, I think. It smells like something, but I can't put my finger on it. I did forget how precise one needs to be whenever they are applying black lipstick. So that was tough. However, here's what I will say. Very opaque in one swipe. And so comfortable, because it is a satin finish. So hide your dads, hide your moms. Okay, I'm gonna zoom you in even closer. So you can just really take it in. The whole fantasy. This is incredible. I look incredible. I look more incredible than I ever look. Because it's a let's play with makeup. Let's reflect. Let's go in the order we applied things. I didn't know. Okay, and my ears were listening, but I was like, that just doesn't seem like something I would enjoy. That doesn't seem like something I would enjoy. My skin looks really good. In person, on camera. A combination of things are on top of my skin. But the way that this has some coverage, it kind of blurs and then also adds the glow. Shut up. Shut up. It's been a while since I've put on something for the first time and been like, I understand you. And I get you. And I want you. Because every now and then I just like approach things with skepticism, right? But I like this. The Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer is a concealer that I have been enjoying as of late. I haven't been really using it on videos, but I've been using it in my shorts whenever I've been doing that, because it's like just kind of, I don't dislike it. I'm not trying to use it up because I don't like it, but it's like a kind of a concealer that I'm like, if it runs out, I won't be the maddest, but it's really, really nice. Been very much enjoying that. The Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation, I do feel as though I am like working through it pretty good, which is both good and sad and tragic, but it's also like when I use it up, it frees me up to try another foundation, because I do think I want to see this all the way through, and that feels good. I'm literally just trying to use up this Amber Cheeks Out bronzer. We're getting so close. We're getting closer and closer every single day. The Chantecaille blurring powder, which I don't even know that I called out that I was using it, but like, I'm saying, do you see that? We had to be so close to pan. We have to be. We have to be. The Kevyn Aucoin powder, which is like depotted and in here, I like it. I like it, and I could see myself buying a full one, maybe. Unless like another contour powder works its way through. The Gucci blush. Reminder, I don't think you should spend $49 on it. Is it the worst $49 I've ever spent? No. Certainly, it's so much better than the dinner I had a few nights ago. So it's okay. It's okay. And I think you deserve, and I deserve, more than okay whenever we're spending $49 on it. I've heard comparisons to Chantecaille, which I kind of understand, but I also wouldn't spend that much on a Chantecaille blush. I've had one in my collection before, and I was like, this is fine. You deserve more than fine. The only reason I think that one would pick up a Gucci blush is if you were interested in the way that they have approached color in the blushes, because I do think that the shades are pretty interesting. It's like they almost are stuff that looks like that we have on the market, except a little bit different. You know, it's like that desaturation I was talking about earlier, and I do think that that provides something. But if you're only buying it to buy like rosy beige, but you have other rosy beiges in your collection, then it's like, just like, don't do it. Auric Smoke Reflect. Really pretty, really easy. I adore it. I do wonder if I had one in a more regular color, but like also look at how I look today. Samantha knew what she was doing. I'm not interested in the lashes. I'm curiously waiting to see what else comes from Auric. That Black Coffee eyeliner from Pat McGrath, it's fine. The rubber lash, I've already reviewed it. I'm still liking it, by the way. Kind of liking it more and more as it ages, too. Like, I think it's getting easier and easier to work with, but it might just be like I'm more familiar with the formula every time I use it. But I like it. I like it. I still don't think I would buy another one of these, but I've been enjoying it. And then the Black Moons Cosmetics lipstick. Like, I can only speak to the application. It's also, this is the shade Omen in their Satin. Sinister Satin. That's what they're called. Omen. Which is, I mean, if you went to their website and just looked for the black lipstick, you'd find it. Very comfortable. Very pigmented. It went on really easy. I'm not complaining about it. I think we had a lot of successes overall. So that's that. That's that. Thank you so much for playing with makeup with me. I hope you had fun. In conclusion, the Glow Lust from Auric was something I was wrongfully sleeping on. It seems. I don't want to get too excited. Maybe it'll all fall apart in It'll be a devastating breakup that we have, but as of right now, I'm hopeful of the future. I think we're gonna get at least 3 dates, you know? And then maybe we'll get married one day. The high point, low point, that's the high point. The low point is don't go to a restaurant. Don't go to a Brazilian steakhouse with a large group of people because it will cost you $300. And that was just for me and the wine. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here and you made it all the way through this video and you aren't subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe. Again, thank you to my dear patrons for making this happen, for making me happen, for being the literal best. Thank you so much. And if you want to support me on Patreon as well, you can do that. It's linked down in my description box below, as well as all of the things I use today. There will be affiliate links down there, so just keep your eyes peeled. And if you really want to go out of your way to not support me, and that's okay, I would understand that too. And remember to like this video before you leave it. Remember, babes, to follow your hote, and you will find me. I appreciate you all so much. I will see you in my next video. Bye! Forever.